Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Family Church Podcast. I'm Chuck Carter, lead pastor of Family Church Central Florida. So glad you joined us again for this podcast. I think it's podcast number 8. And there are people told us we'd never get past number 3. So I'm excited about that.
I'm excited about that.
I'm joined always by...
I'm Filipe Mendes, your online pastor here at Family Church. And for today's podcast, we have a special guest, Chris Roberts. He's our Oakland community pastor, but also the sports ministry leader in our church. So we're going to hear from Chris this amazing, exciting topic, how church can use sports to thrive in ministry.
Hey, everybody. Like Felipe said, we have Chris Roberts with us. Chris, I've known you about 10, 11 years. Knew you when you were a single man, went to your wedding.
Yep.
And you've served on staff how long now?
This is my 8th year.
8th year on
That's crazy.
staff.
Yep.
And so tell us a little bit about your family, how you got on staff. Tell us your story for just a minute.
Yeah, a story that I never would have, thought. Met my wife, Catherine, who she's been going here, I think, since she was born. So
Yes.
32 years. I didn't say her age. Okay, so she didn't hear that. But yeah, 32 years, and met her at Chick-fil-A. We were working
Which, by
together.
the way, she's one of our worship leaders
She
now.
is. Yep.
And I knew her 25 years ago when she was singing in the little kids choir.
Nice.
So
Yep.
it's great to see that.
Yeah.
No, it's awesome. She's going through, and she's just phenomenal at what she does. And we connected at Chick-fil-A and started dating from there. And eventually, I was an accountant for many years, and I just it wasn't my thing. I always knew I wanted to be in ministry somehow, and we got to the point where we were trying to figure out what was next in our life after we got married. And I got approached by Russell on staff. I was like, hey, we got an opportunity to do some sports and some facilities at one of our campuses, and we'd love to, if you want to do that. I know it's totally different, and it may be a totally different career path, but it sounds like something you want to do. And so we jumped in and kind of never looked back. And it led to one thing another, went into student ministry, did that for a few years, ran that at our Lakeside. And
Nice.
so now I've been able to settle in with the sports ministry and the community pastor.
Yeah,
so.
you're like so many on our staff who wear multiple hats.
Yeah.
And this isn't a part of what I wanted to talk about today, but to those who are watching, because we have people who watch who go to other churches, and this, we really want to help equip other churches. Some of the best talent for your staff is in your church. And I would say, 70% of our staff we've raised up through the church. To go out and look for somebody, bring them in, is rare.
Yeah.
Most of the people on our staff, your wife being an example of that, was raised up through the church. Look, the reason I wanted to interview you today, for several reasons, but one is we want to help to equip churches. And what we've discovered post-pandemic is that people aren't just walking into church anymore, right? If you're just sitting there doing service and expecting the community to walk in, it's not going to happen.
No, right.
So we have to bring the church to the community in different ways and engage the community and build relationships outside of the four walls of the church with the hope of then bringing them to church. In fact, that's what Felipe does with the online ministry.
Exactly. So we usually plan on creating social media content, testimonies. We inspire people to first being served by us. We offer them, Bible truth, testimony, podcast, everything. We come up with ideas.
Even streaming the service.
Even streaming the service, it is part of
right.
it. So what do you guys do to bring people into your ministry?
Yeah, so we offer, several sports from soccer to basketball to football. And so what we're trying to do is we've realized that we live in a world where sports and rec are crazy. You've got two fields that we live in. We have very competitive, and then we have recreational. There's no real middle ground, right? And so being able to find your niche and what that is and where you fit in, and we realized we're not going to be very competitive, right? So what we do is getting people on those fields, getting families on there is the best way to get them to the front door, because we have families that have never been connected to a church, or they've had bad experiences and they don't want to trust the church. But we get them on a field because their kid wants to play a sport. They're going to put them in an activity. Then we can get positive influences around them, from parents to coaches to other kids. And then they start saying, okay, maybe there's something different from what I experienced, right? And so now they're connected in a different way. They have a relational experience with those people on the field, rather than just a relational experience with, you know, a church at another state or another place that they've had problems with. So that allows that connection to be different.
So Chris, we use Upwards a lot, and so give us an idea of how many kids are in each sport, and what's the percentage of churched and unchurched, and how do you connect with them? What's the goal?
Yeah, so our goal is you got to find that thing that you want to be a part of, right? And our goal isn't to be crazy competitive. We want to reach the individual, the kids, the families. And so our sports right now, we average about 300 in each league. And so about 40% of them are unchurched or don't have a church, which is a crazy number. Wow. And so we're literally...
So you're saying... total, we've got probably about 1,000 kids that we reach, right?
On a yearly basis.
Yeah. And 400 of those don't have a church home.
Right.
That's amazing.
And it's amazing. And we're not doing anything than just offering a sports place that they feel safe and comfortable to come be a part of, right? They're literally coming to us. And so it is, when we talk about reaping the harvest, like, they're right there. They're right there in front of us, allowing us to be a part of that. And so, and about another 30% are church people, either from our church or other churches in the area that we try to partner with or have good relationships with, and they have coaches that be a part of it. So, and we'll get awesome stories, right? Like, we love having stories of families coming in that don't have a church and they become a part of family church. But we get stories as well that it's like, hey, my son came in and now he's saved and he got baptized at another church down the street, right? But we hear those stories that it's not just about us, right?
It's about kingdom.
Exactly. It's the kingdom mindset and connecting with other
So how
churches,
does that happen? What's the role of the coach in all of that?
Yeah, the coach, and we have a coach meeting before every season, and we sit down, and I wish I could record it, but I get very intense with them because I put it very straightforward, like, here's what's expected from you guys, right? And the coaching role is so important because you are laying the expectation that it's beyond the score, and it really is. And I know that it's hard to say because everyone likes to win. I'm a winner. I like to win. I don't like to lose, right? That is not fun for me. I'm a Miami fan, so I'm kind of used to the losing part. I know. We're coming up, okay? It's going to happen this year. But the whole point in all that is their role is to develop the individual, right? Sure, they can become good at new soccer skills or, throwing the football better. That's great. But the goal is, how do they reach them at a moral character basis level? How do they be able to talk into their lives that one day they look back and go, oh, yeah, I became a better athlete. It's like, no, I became a better person because that man poured into my life better, right?
That's awesome. So the coaches do devotions with them, and those are at every practice and every game?
Yeah, every practice, they'll break off about halfway through the practice. You got a 1 hour practice a week, you got 1 hour game a week, and so it's very family friendly, and that's the point, right? It's to be able to keep the family unit together, because if you haven't seen already now, the culture is crazy with overpopulating your schedule. It's absolutely crazy. You'll get parents that have something every single day for their kid, and they're just trying to fit in dinner together, right? Our goal is to make sure, hey, you got 1 hour practice, 1 hour game, go spend time with your family, right? And so the devotionals help that. Yeah,
so we're engaging the community, and you're seeing 40% of the people come who don't have any church background at all.
Right.
I'll guarantee you, no churches are filled with 40% unchurched people. People walking in for the first time. You have coaches who love the Lord and are doing it with the understanding this is their ministry.
Right.
And they're not only building into the skills of each one of these sports to these kids,
right,
but even more importantly, they're building into the soul
of
these kids and sharing Christ. And we talk, morality and ethics and what it means to be a good person.
Exactly.
I really like that.
So, Chris, you have mentioned 3 major sports throughout this conversation. What else does the ministry do?
Yeah, I mean, we have things like volleyball. We got into the adult rec, and we're doing cornhole. We have a cornhole tournament actually happening tomorrow. We got 32 teams lined up for that, and so that'll be
my first time.
Fun and exciting. First time, that's right. You're looking at the reigning champ from last year, so we'll see what happens, okay? But, no participation trophies for this one, okay? But we got that, and then we have our summer camps.
About a $3,000 prize?
Yeah, exactly. It's funny how I won that. I don't know how that worked. But, then we have our summer camps that we do the same idea, but throughout the summer, families want to put their kids somewhere, so we get their kids involved, and we do devotionals throughout the week, right? So it's very different than what most other summer camps do. And then we have things like Frisbee for the young adult ministry, and so we're trying to expand our reach in that, right? It's not just about, we go up to 8th grade and upward, and then we want to go beyond that, right? There's a lot of high schoolers. We have one high school here that's 5,000 high schoolers in it, and how many of them make the sports league? Yeah. Maybe 2%, right? Yeah. What do the other 98% who want to play sports do? So we're trying to find a way to get them involved as well. So.
Cool.
You just kind of, mentioned it really quickly, but your summer camps are amazing. Talk a little bit about those.
Yeah, that comes down to our leaders as well. We take a lot of our leaders from the church, that we grow them. Like we don't go pick them from the outside or get random kids. It's young adults or high schoolers that have come through our ministry that we know we have good relationships with. They have good relationship with the Lord, and then they're able to come back and feed back into these kids, right? So, and then we have more that are up and coming that come from the sports ministry because they've grown through it as well. And then they come back and feed into the kids. But yeah, we have soccer camps, we have football camps, we have all sports, basketball, whatever you want throughout the year or throughout the summer. And it's just a way for us to be able to hang out with their kids and have fun. Yeah. And then we get to have devotionals, and we have those relationships where we've had kids literally go from kindergarten all the way through 8th grade, and now they're volunteering. And now they come back, and they still want to be a part of it, right? They don't want to leave. And so it's just a really fun environment to be in.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So we want to help churches. If a church is out there listening, somebody in the church or pastor, and they think, man, this might be good for my church. Yep. How would you get a sports ministry started in your church?
Yeah, the first thing is to find the right program, what works for you, right? It may be upward, it could be something else, it could be something internally that you do, right?
I say there's one step before that. Find the person with the passion.
Right. Now you find that person, and that is key. Like, and my personality is I love sports, right? So that was kind of where it kicked off at first, but then I also love people. You're in ministry. There are conversations, things that you're going to wish or you never thought you'd ever have, but they're God moments. And I've had it with coaches and parents and kids throughout seasons, but it takes the right person to be able to navigate that and put it in the right direction, right? And then you have to care about sports. You have to have the knowledge and care that there is the competitiveness behind that, right? But being able to find that person is key. And then being able to them to grow, and then find people below them that they're willing to grow into as well, because it's a team thing. It's not a one person job for sure.
Which, by the way, for the normative size church, it's going to be a volunteer. You're not going to be able to.
Right.
And secondly, you may need to partner with other churches,
right?
Because one church alone couldn't field a football team or a soccer team, right?
Yeah, this is one of my questions. Like we have in our church a nice facility. So we have the fields at Lakeside, and we have the gym in Windermere. Yep. So what would you say to the church that doesn't have the facilities like we do?
Yeah, we're extremely blessed. And 10 years ago, 12 years ago, we got the fields at Lakeside that have been a game changer for what we've done. But before even I came on board, Dean Miller was running it, and they used to rent fields from the county, right? And that he was out there every week, lining fields, getting it measured out, doing it at another facility because he knew what this would mean for the community, right? So find fields. Their fields are out there. Yes, it got more difficult because of COVID, but there are places that are willing to rent, right? And if you have a field, or if you have a location to build a field, invest in that, because you're not investing in the land, you're investing in the people, and that it's huge because you may not see it on the financial side, but you will see it on the kingdom side. You'll see it on the people side, because you're going to bring in people just by offering that. And so connecting with churches is huge. If you don't have a gym, and they have a gym and it's not being utilized, go run upwards at their church. Yeah, go be a part of that. Go connect with them, right? It's more than your church. It's about the kingdom. When we
think about the kingdom, God blesses, right?
Yep, agreed.
Hey, Chris, thank you for being a part of this podcast. Thank you for all you're doing here at Family Church. And if somebody wants to contact you and ask more, what's your email address, or what's the best way to contact you?
Yeah, email us. I'd love to have a conversation. Love to talk about how we can connect and help your area. My email is croberts@ourfamily.church, but shoot me an email, and I'd love to have a coffee or have a phone call and see what we can do to help you.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You know, as always, I finish with
Somebody has to say it.
Well, it's summertime, and I just traveled
Summertime.
a little bit and saw tourists.
All right.
And of course, living in Orlando, we see a lot of tourists
We do.
at
Too
the
many.
parks and all of that. Not too many,
No.
because
They
they
do.
bring their money
They
with
do.
them.
It's their
dude.
driving that I have issues
They bring
with,
their
you know,
money with
but-
them, okay?
That's great.
But here's what somebody has to say. If you're an old man and you decide you're going to wear shorts that day,
Okay.
please don't put on dress shoes and dress socks.
Well, that's basic. Yeah.
Right?
It's great. It's
It's
great.
such a
No.
terrible look.
That's
Come
great.
on.
So, do we have permission?
More class
Oh, yeah.
Do we have
than that.
permission if we see you wearing it? We
Oh,
can say
absolutely.
something.
We're going to
Okay,
call
good.
you out on
And
that
then
one.
there's the guy where the belt is closer to the shoulders than it is to the
It's true,
hips,
it's
right? Don't
There's a lot of those.
Don't do
jack
that.
up
No.
the,
Don't do
the
that,
shorts,
yeah.
you know,
No.
up
They can stay home.
above.
That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I'm about to become an old person if I'm not one
about?
already.
No.
I just got to speak up. Somebody's got to say it. You got to represent better if you're an old person.
Yes.
Don't care anymore. Start caring
Yeah.
about how you look.
Exactly.
All right.
So, guys, thank you for joining us one more time here at Family Church Podcast. If you have any questions, send it to us. You can find our information through our website, ourfamily.church. You can follow us on any social channel like YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast. If you like this podcast, like it, share it with your friends, and
Watch it about 10 times.
Yes. Do it. This will help us engage and drive more people to this content. Thank you one more time, and I can't wait to see you next time.
Thank you, Felipe.
You're welcome.
Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Bye.